Right now, try to say your great-grandfather's full name out loud. You probably can't. And in about 3 generations, no one will be able to say yours either. That thought can hollow you out at 3 in the morning. The fear that you'll grind for decades, build something real, matter to the people around you, and then the world just closes over all of it like water. No ripple, no trace, nobody left who can even say your name. Here's the strange part. Marcus Aurelius felt exactly this. The most powerful man alive, ruler of the entire Roman Empire, statues of him in every province, and in his private journal he kept writing himself the opposite of a pep talk about being remembered. Not once as a passing bad mood. Over and over, like a man trying to talk himself down from a fever. If you'd rather meet this particular fear in the version that frees you instead of the version that keeps you awake, that's the whole job of this channel. One old idea a week, turned into something you can actually carry into a Tuesday. Subscribe and it'll come find you. Now, back to the emperor who could not stop thinking about being forgotten. Almost every ambition you have, if you follow it down far enough, lands on the same floor. You want to build something that lasts. Leave a mark. Be a name people still say after you're gone. We dress it up 100 different ways. Legacy, impact, building a brand, making a dent. But underneath a lot of it sits one quiet hope, the one we rarely say out loud. That you won't completely disappear. Call it the monument trap. The belief that if you can just be remembered, then your life will have counted for something. Marcus saw straight through it. In his journal, Book 2, Passage 17, he wrote a line that sounds almost brutal coming from an emperor. Being famous after you're gone, he wrote, is worth no more than being forgotten. Sit with who was saying that. The man whose face was pressed into the coins, whose name was carved across an empire, telling himself in private that every last monument to him was worth exactly nothing the moment he died. But he didn't stop there. That same passage has a second half, and it's the part that turns this entire fear inside out. I'll come back to it. First, we have to see how completely the trap has already closed, even on the biggest names who ever lived. Here's the reframe, and it's really the whole episode, so let it land. Being remembered was never in your control, and it was never the point. Whether your name survives depends on other people's memory, on their children, on their attention, on accidents of history you will never be around to steer. You can't manage it from here. You can't work hard enough to guarantee it. And even if you pulled it off, you wouldn't be there to feel it. So the whole project, this straining to become permanent, is effort poured into something you can't hold and won't witness. Think about it plainly. A man can live 84 years, and his own great-grandson won't know his name. That's not the tragedy. The tragedy is spending the years you actually do have trying to prevent it. And the freedom hiding inside that sentence is enormous. If you cannot win permanence, then you are completely off the hook for chasing it. Marcus makes this almost physical. Book 4, Passage 33. He just starts listing names. Camillus, Scipio, Cato, then Augustus, then the emperors who came right after him. In his day, these were the giants. The names every Roman child memorized, spoken with awe, cut into stone over the doorways. And Marcus, writing them out one by one, says plainly that they've already gone strange and obscure, have forgotten in his own lifetime. Now sit with those names a second. How many of those men could you actually describe? These were the most famous human beings on the planet, and time quietly sanded them down into trivia. So hold your own version up against that. The founder whose name is on the building, and not one person walking through the lobby could tell you who he was. The engraved trophy in a box in the garage. The grave that stopped getting visitors 2 winters after the funeral. If the greatest names Rome ever produced dissolved into a list you'd skim right past, then your profile, your following, your body of work is not the exception. Your name is not the loophole that history somehow forgot to close. I know exactly how that lands. But it isn't the dead end, it's the doorway. So why is this hunger so stubborn? Why does the craving to be remembered survive every single reminder that almost no one is remembered for long? Modern psychology has a serious answer. Back in the 1980s, 3 psychologists, Solomon, Greenberg, and Pishinsky, built something they called terror management theory. The core of it is this: we are the one animal that knows for certain that it is going to die. And that knowledge is so heavy that we spend a startling amount of energy quietly managing it. One of the main ways we manage it, they argue, is by building immortality projects, something meant to outlast us. A legacy, a body of work, a name, a brand, a monument, some piece of us that gets to keep going. Now, I want to be straight with you about the science. This is a well-supported idea in psychology, but some of the specific experiments on death reminders have been debated in the replication literature, so hold it as a strong lens, not a hard law. Even so, look around you. The entire personal brand era, the endless posting, the metrics, the building of an audience, is the monument trap running at industrial scale. The same ancient hunger, just far better tools. So here's the line I promised you, the one that turns the fear inside out. And fittingly, it comes from Epictetus, a man born a slave, who had no monument to lose in the first place. In his handbook, passage 24, he takes the fear head on. Don't let this thought wear you down, he says. The thought that you'll live unknown, a nobody, remembered by no one. Because honor, the real kind, is not something other people hand to you or take away. It lives in exactly one place. In what is actually yours? Your character. How you treat the person right in front of you. What you do when nobody at all is recording. And that runs straight back to Marcus, to the half of the passage we left hanging. Right after he says fame is worth nothing, he asks what is worth something. And his answer is almost startling in how small it is. Only one thing. To live this life, the one you're standing in, with honesty and with justice. That's the flip. You cannot win permanence, and so you are freed from having to chase it. All of that effort, the performing, the positioning, the quiet lifelong audition for people not yet born, gets handed back to you. To spend on the only thing that was ever actually yours. Today, the people who are actually in it. Who you are when it's just you. So here's the practice, and like the idea itself, it's small on purpose. Call it the Unmonumented Day. For one day, take a single thing you would normally do to be seen, and do it unseen. The good deed you'd usually find a way to mention. Do it and tell no one. The work you'd normally make sure got credited to you. Let it go out without your name attached. The kind gesture you'd have do for the story you tell about it later. Do it so quietly that no one will ever trace it back to you. And then pay attention to what happens. It still counts. The help still helped. The work was still good. The kindness still reached someone. None of it needed a witness to be real. That's the exact thing you're being freed from, compressed into one small rep. The belief that an act only matters if it gets filed under your name. Do it once, and you can feel the grip loosen. You start to notice how much of your life you've been quietly performing for a memory that was never going to hold you anyway. So this is the trade on the table. You give up the hunger to be remembered, and in return you get back the day right in front of you. You can't control whether anyone says your name 100 years from now. You can control whether you live well in the next hour. That is not a downgrade. That is the entire prize. A man can live 80 years and still be forgotten by his own great-grandson. Don't burn those years trying to stop it. Spend them living. If you want one of these every week, an old idea that quietly hands you back a little room to breathe, subscribe. Daily Stoic Mentality. Ancient wisdom for the modern mind.